can you beat Lost City to Neon Mixtape Tour with only single use plants? In part 1, which if you haven't seen is the first link in the description, I was quite unclear about what counts as a plant I can use, but to put it simply, anything in the single use category on the Plants vs Zombies wiki is completely up for grabs, except for the mints. And to refresh you on the rules, firstly, any pre-placed plants I will try my best to dig up. Secondly, any gimmick levels that I get, I will try my best to complete, but they may not be possible. And finally, I'm only allowed a maximum of 2 premium plants per level, but with everything covered, it's onto the Lost City. We left part 1 off at the end of Frostbite Caves, meaning we are now in the Lost City, which is mostly different because of the gold towers on the floor, which gives sun occasionally, and also when something is planted on them, but as my plants are single use, I'll mostly never get more than 1 lot of sun before the plant's used. Apart from that, day 1 is as regular as it gets, meaning it's quite easy. Day 2 introduces the parachute zombies, which kind of just appear from the air and don't really change anything. Day 3 is the first conveyor belt of the world. Oh, it's gonna be like selective plants or a conveyor belt. Watch. Who would have guessed? Conveyor. Oh my. And while it gives me the lava guava, it isn't possible when I tried it. Either way, the lava guava is awful, so it's in D tier. Day 4 introduces the shovel zombie, which, if you couldn't guess, shovels plants up and also throws them behind them. Oh, and it can also block projectiles, which isn't a problem. Other than that, it's easy enough. Day 5 is another conveyor level, meaning we can't beat it. And while the cherry bomb is in this one, it's only introduced later on, meaning I can't exclusively use it. Day 6 isn't very different, so let me quickly go over what this shovel zombie can shovel. The first, unsurprisingly, is the chili bean, meaning it's completely useless against it unless you place it right on the zombie after the shovel. The other plant is the unarmed potato mine, because when it's armed it just blows up. Day 7 introduces the umbrella zombie, which is meant to block anything coming from above, like with catapults. And the only plant I have which looks like it would be a problem is the squash, but it isn't one, which I only found out while getting some extra footage, so I don't think I ended up trying it. Day 8 is a given plants level which I can't complete using only the iceberg lettuce. Day 9 is another conveyor level which has 1 singular cherry bomb up for grabs, so I also can't beat that. Day 10 was completely normal, and day 11 introduces the flying zombie, which, like all other flying zombies, can only be dealt with using the cherry bomb and squash. Day 12 is a reduced sun level, and while I can't do that yet, I'm happy I didn't need to because of the gargantuan. Day 13 is once again another conveyor. Oh my god. And day 14, well, giving me the lava guava is impossible just because of how awful the lava guava actually is. It can't even kill a buckethead. Day 15 has 2 endangered plants who, opposed to the pepper pot in Frostbite Caves, can actually fend for themselves, so it was easy enough. Day 16 is the gargantuan level. What? But any single use plants I could get only come at the end of the level, so I can't even try it. I'm low-key dreading the later worlds, but I feel like I'm gonna jinx it, but this is incredibly easy. Even with the normal plants. There's no real gimmicks that are, or special zombies that are giving me trouble. Or a lot of trouble at least. Alert you today if my senses sense incoming importers. Oh, these guys. This shouldn't be difficult, I don't think. Day 17 introduces the imp porters who, after a few tiles, set up camp and spawn quite a few zombies. Unless you kill them quickly, which I did for this level, so they're not a big issue. Day 18 is another conveyor belt, but introduces the Stalia, a free plant that slows zombies across 3 lanes, meaning I'll give it a fair B rating. Day 19 is where the imp portals actually become an issue, because every world has a habit of choosing a zombie and in a few levels sending them in all 5 rows, meaning in this case I can't get all of them before at least 1 is set up. Day 20 was, unlike most other levels, quite difficult, leaving me with a grand total of 1 mower, which is better than none, but is still quite bad for this world. Day 21 is another given plants level, but has no single use damaging plants. And day 22 was the same with that, but can still be beaten because of the traps, as if I planted them, it can kill the zombies and the plants. I'm not opposed to it. And I did it. Okay. Easiest world ever. Easiest world ever. Day 23 introduces the guy who's very, very difficult. Who the fuck's this? Lol. No, I'm joking. The level itself, though, was actually quite difficult with all mowers being used. Day 24 was a flowers level, which other than losing 2 mowers to flying things was completely fine. Day 25 gave me most of the plants to use, leaving me with 2 choices, and like the rest of this world was actually quite easy, with me only losing 1 mower, which is quite good for 2 plants. Day 26 was quite a normal day with the addition of unlocking the gold leaf, which I would put in the didn't use category, but as it's forced into my loadout in a couple of levels, it gets a D rating. Day 27 introduces the only other difficult zombie that isn't the importer. I think I just saw a new zombie somewhere. What a great time to add a new zombie. With the cleverly named Turquoise Skull Zombie. I'm not joking, that's his name. They should know that. Around here, it's me. Anyways, this guy uses his skull to completely obliterate plants.
Huh?
Mostly just the chili bean.
Damn. Okay. Well, you don't see this, do you?
And while I can deal with most of the zombies themselves, there were a lot on this level, meaning it was impossible. No, that's... yeah, this is impossible. Yeah, there's no way I can do that. There's no way it's actually doable, in my opinion. Day 28 was another given level. If anyone could do this one with that, then go ahead. And day 29 was actually a difficult normal level, which, while possible, left me with only 2 mowers. Day 30 had even more science experiments from Dave, and while it costed most of my mowers, it was possible. Day 31 was another given level, and day 32 was a boss fight, which, like most of the levels in this world, was quite easy, and gave us the key to Far Future. I forgot I forgot which one this was. Oh, Far Future. Nice. The main thing with this world is robots and electronic suits, which you may be able to guess with the whole future part of the name. But with that said, they aren't here for day 1, which led to a swift victory, because the other part of this world are the power tiles, which if you plant food a plant that's on a power tile, it also plant foods any plant that are on the same color of power tile, if that made any sense. Day 2 introduces the first of the electronic zombies with the guy who's aptly named the Shield Zombie. And if you couldn't guess what it does, it makes a shield. But it's 3 wide and blocks any attacks, even any single use plants ahead of it. That's, if by any, I mean the potato man. Day 3 throws me into a game of jetpack joyride as these flying fucks can just fly over any of my plants except from the 2 you could probably guess. With this level though, we do get blowover, which I'm giving a modest B rating as it's quite useful for more than just the jetpack zombies, which we'll see in a short while. Day 4 is the first of a few sunbomb levels, and these are amazing because I can easily use these to just murder the zombies, which causes the level to not only be easy, there goes the whole way, but also quite satisfying. Day 5 introduces the first zombie that isn't a gargantuan and requires 2 insta-kills for it to be defeated, which that guy takes 2 insta-kills. Makes it a bit harder, but not too much. The other thing this level introduces is the first plant rank change, because when I rank the plants, it's mostly dependent on how they are in the worlds I'm currently facing, and I could not have foreseen how utterly useless the chili bean is in this world.
Yeah, these guys don't get affected by the chili bean.
And while it was originally an S tier plant, as it literally can't do anything to the robot zombies, it's being downgraded to A, which is still good, but just not as good. Apart from that, and before the next levels, day 6 and 8 are both either given or conveyors, and as I had to re-record levels 3 to 9, those will be shown.
I can't be...
So, turns out I didn't record fucking 7 levels. I'm pissed. Day 6 and day 8 were either given or conveyor belt levels. So I'm not doing this again. Day 7 is a very easy level, especially with blowover in my arsenal. Day 9 is also quite easy, and at the end gave me what I originally thought would be a great plant, the EM Peach. The only issue in this world are the robots. And the plant we're about to get after this level just completely disregards the whole thing. But it's quite awful, and it's being put in D tier because while I don't use it, I did for a round or 2. Day 10 introduces some type of iron lung contraption which summons in some jetpack disco zombies, and while the iron lung is too short, I can just blow over the disco zombies away.
Nice. I'm gonna save this second column for squash.
Day 11 is the first last standing over a world, and like normal is only potato mines, this time with a spare line for other plants, but either way it wasn't too bad. Day 12 is the introduction of the gargantuan, which in this world shoots lasers to damage plants, meaning if it could aim, which it should still aim labs to help, it may be able to damage our plants. Day 13 introduces the mecha football zombie, who other than appearance is nothing like the football zombie, as in this case it just pushes some plants away instead of running into them. Day 14 is another level where I have to budget my sun, which I don't need to stress about. Day 15 is an endangered citron level, which I was originally a bit worried about but wasn't an issue at all. Day 16 and 17 were both a conveyor and given level, which is just amazing. Day 18 is another level that requires sun, which I'm one world from allowing it, and I still don't know why I did it like this. But day 19 is another sun bomb level, which, like the first one, was very easy and satisfying. Day 20 is the first impossible level in far future, as the star fruits are frankly just awful, and my plants can only hold off so much with 3 towers of space, so just gonna skip that one. Day 21 is another sun level. Okay, I can't do this one either. And day 22 is a last stand level, which according to my notes is easy as hell.
Oh, I did it. That was easy as hell.
Day 23 is probably the most revolutionary level in this whole challenge, as I start to plant the squash, potato mite and chili bean as soon as they're ready, which means the start is a bit more defended. Don't know why I didn't do this earlier. Other than that, this level is a budget sun and budget plant level, and while it normally isn't a big issue, I lost all but one mower, which was actually quite surprising. Day 24 is the penultimate level in this world, and is also the last level with the sun bombs, which somehow we lost the mower. After this level though, we got the tower turnip, which is also going into detail as I'm never going to use it willingly.
Turnip.
Day 25 is the boss level, which is also an easy one.
Nice.
Which gives me the key to Dark Ages and the start of using sun producers. This is going to be tragic. I'm going to swap out the jalapeno, because we're only allowing myself 2 premium plants. And I'm going to grab this one. Gives an instant burst of sun. I could get this one, but it costs 100 sun already, and I don't have that. This is the world with the least levels, and that's probably for a good reason, as the main gimmick of this world is that sun just doesn't drop from the sky. And for me, that means I can finally introduce the sun producer for this world, which is the gold bloom. And this is the only one that I can use because it's the only one that I can actually afford and have be useful. And for that reason, it's going into the S tier. However, it isn't the only thing I can do to get sun, because this world comes with graves that give sun and also plant food. But if you remember back in ancient Egypt, the only thing I really used the grave buster for was for stalling, and that means I kind of just forgot about it.
This should be very easy. Obviously, I can't destroy the grave. The grave buster is back in play. Damn! How much should I start with? I don't know.
Day, or I guess night 1, I'm still going to call them days. Like in every world, it's just a normal zombie level, meaning it's quite easy. As in, it wasn't easy, as even with the sun producer, I somehow didn't have enough sun. This one gives like 300 sun, and I lost it all somehow.
Wow, I'm actually surprised I did that.
Got 19 levels of this. I'm going to be honest, I'm dreading this world so much. Anyways, day 1 must have been a fluke or something, because day 2 was incredibly easy, and because of that, as well as both Lost City and Far Future also being easy, I created a temporary rule, you'll see why it's temporary soon, which limits me to 5 single-use plants per level. I'm setting a rule in motion, a restriction now, because it's been quite easy since I learned that strategy. So I can either ban that strategy, basically meaning placing the plants when I get them, or I'm restricting myself to 5 plants maximum. So this is the amount. These are the only plants I'm allowing myself to bring now. Obviously, if it gets too hard, I will just revert back to the original. And even with that rule, day 3 was very easy.
No.
It's gonna be him. It's gonna be like a given plant, yeah, or is it conveyor? Day 4 is a conveyor level with hypno shrooms and grave busters, which for some reason I originally didn't exclusively use them, but I came back and did it quite easily, and that's why I don't get anything other than money from it. Day 5 introduces the first special zombie with the Jester, and this zombie can turn into a tornado which reflects projectiles from it, and it can gain immunity and speed against some certain plants that must be easy to function. And before I go into its weaknesses, let's have a look at its origin section. It's a masterpiece. Anyways, it literally does nothing to stop me as it's weak to all of my plants, meaning Day 5 isn't too bad. Day 6 was a last stand level, and was easy enough, meaning we unlock the Sunbeam, which I'm putting in C tier as in normal levels is nowhere near the same level as the Gold Bloom, and as it costs 50 sun, it means I will only be able to kill 2 zombies as each of those give 35 sun, which isn't enough for another Sunbeam. Day 7 was another easy level as once again it was just the regular zombies. Day 8 was a given plants level, and Day 9 introduced the evil potions that buffs zombies, except they don't buff them to resist my plants, so fuck them. Day 10 is another conveyor level, which, while it says that the Gravebuster and Potato Mines appear, there is one singular Gravebuster and an 8% chance for a Potato Mine, which have a maximum of 3 of them, so I'm skipping it. Day 11 introduces the most annoying zombie in this world, the Wizard. This zombie turns our plants into sheep, which means they can just pass through them. Thankfully, if it's killed, all the plants return to number, which is different to a future zombie that I don't even want to start on. But either way, this is the most annoying zombie in this world, especially because of the one in each lane approach the game basically always takes with these new zombies. Day 12 is an endangered plants level, with the only difficulty being plant fooding the endangered plants because they just start to disappear if you don't. And I also forgot one attempt. No! Right at the end. But other than that, it was completely fine. You got the Excalibur, or whatever it's called. It's going to be given plants, watch. Day 13 is a conveyor, and Day 14 is the first sun level we can actually give a good attempt on, which would have been very easy if it gave me the Gold Bloom. But I was still able to use the Sunbeam and Gravebuster to get as much as I can, which after one fell.
No.
Because I forgot 90 sun.
Oh my god. Look, I'm literally 90 off.
Was completely possible. Day 15 was another last stand level, which, because of wizards mixing with the lack of sun, costed me 2 moments. Day 16 introduces the Zombie King, who just kind of sits there and makes the zombies into knights, which may be annoying in a regular playthrough, but this isn't that, so the zombies just look a bit cooler, I guess. With that said, Day 16 was easy, and Day 17 was another evil potions level, which once again changed absolutely nothing. This was followed by a given plants level on Day 18 and an endangered plants level on Day 19, which had 3 magnets, but as those are actually good and the only gargantuans were set on the other 2 lanes, it was quite easy. The final day, Day 20, was the boss level, which, other than losing a couple because the boss couldn't shoot fire quick enough, was quite simple. But after defeating the boss, we get the key to Neon Mixtape Tour, which is where everything falls apart.
Now for Neon Mixtape Tour.
Neon Mixtape Tour has the strangest gimmick of any world, with different music playing, which changes how the zombies work, as it can increase speed or begin some zombies' abilities. As well as that, this world has probably the highest amount of new zombies out of every world, and out of the 6 plants that you can get in this world, and the 3 that I can actually use, only 1 is actually good. Either way, let's start how each world begins with an easy as hell Day 1 to make me feel a bit good. Day 2 introduces the Punk Zombie.
Who the fuck's this?
Which, like the mecha football zombie in Far Future, kicks plants ahead a spot, and I'd like you to guess the only fully armed plant that's affected by this kicking feature. The Chili Bean, which is another reason it's been moved to A. This level is thankfully easy to handle against the Punk Zombie, but it won't stay that way for long. Day 3 is a conveyor level, yay. And Day 4 we get limited to 4 plant choices instead of 5, but it only lost me 2 mowers, which is better than all of them. Day 5 is an endangered plants level with 2 walnuts and 2 of the absolute worst plants I've ever seen. I can't describe why I hate them so much, but I just do. Day 6 is another conveyor level. Great. Day 7 introduces, like most of the upcoming zombies, one of the worst zombies for this challenge, with this one being the Glitter Zombie. When the music is playing, this zombie will emit a 1x3 rainbow trail behind them, which protects any zombies in that trail from any damage, until either she dies or the music ends. The worst part about this zombie is that they insta-kill any plants while the music is playing, and as the zombies behind are protected, I can't use any multi-zombie insta-kills like the cherry bomb, but I can use the iceberg lettuce to freeze that zombie and have the other ones behind it walk past it. With that explained, day 7 is incredibly close to failing because all mowers got launched before the final wave, which is obviously problematic, but it was thankfully only just doable. No way did I do it. I can't believe it. I'm actually so surprised I did that. That is a tragic level. Right, I'm gonna have to remove it, so I'm gonna bring in jalapeno. Day 8 was a real difficult level for me as I started by removing the 5 plant limit I had for a small amount of time. Why are there so many zombies? There's fucking 5 there. I'm happy I did that because I failed so many times that the winning attempt, it seems like I completely forgot that squash was a premium plant and I ended up having 3 here. But I did fail the level previously, so I'd say it's kind of fair. Day 9 was a given level and I can't really complete it with only iceberg lettuce and stunnion. The biggest thing, however, is that this level unlocks the best of the best. The only plant in this whole challenge that makes everything 10 times easier, the time warp. I'm not going to put in the effort to make like an edit, but someone else do that with this background music. Boom. No, I'm not even going to. That was that was genuinely the worst thing I've ever done. Day 10 is a conveyor level that I can't complete. Oh my god. Day 11 was the first and probably only given plant level in the whole game that I can very, very comfortably complete using only single use plants, with it giving me 4 that I can use. Another thing I want to talk about is the zombie introduced in the last couple of levels, the microphone zombie, which when some rap music is playing, I didn't even realize different music played. When the rap music is playing, the microphone zombie will spin his microphone in a 3x3 area around him, which kills every non-defensive plant in that area. Now, you may see an issue here, which is a bit obvious, but it is a bit more manageable with the use of time warp. And just because of how useful time warp is, unless we really need it, we're not going to use time warp, because that just made the last level really easy. Day 12 introduces this world's gargantuan, and while I normally wouldn't talk about it, this one is completely different because when this gargantuan hits the ground, it sends a damaging shockwave in the lane it's on, which obviously damages plants, and most of the time in my case ends up killing them because of how many times it hits the ground. But thankfully, if you place both of these close enough to the gargantuan, both the squash and cherry bomb don't get affected by it. Day 13 is the first impossible last stand since I think Frostbite Caves, and it's all because of how many zombies there are. Even with the time warp, there are just too many for me to deal with at the end. Day 14 is another given plants level as like, bro, can't do everything with just the time warp. Day 15, like 13, is another impossible level. This time, however, is because of the Beats of Prey, which I wrote in the notes here. Like Beats by Dre, but Prey, lol. But it's mostly just because they can't do fuck all for themselves. Day 16 is the gargantuan level and it's probably the start of the major downfall. Day 17 introduces the breakdancer zombie, which if rap music is playing, it will spin and kick zombies ahead by 1.5 tiles. Now, something I didn't realize is how easily this could be countered with blower, as if I timed it right, any zombies kicked ahead could be blown away. In the end though, this was completable after losing most mowers. Day 18 was once again a close level, losing most of my mowers. Day 18 was a conveyor level, which was incredibly easy because it was promoting some premium plants. What's this? Is it just like the lightning reed? Just like the lightning reed, yeah. But like, shit, what? What? Damn, that's quite powerful. Day 20 had a ton of zombies by the end, meaning I lost all but 2 mowers. Day 21 had some flowers in the middle of the lawn, meaning I couldn't rely on the mowers, which I've been doing for the past few levels. So after 1 fail, that's BS, and 1 pre-launched mower, which I nearly forgot about, I was able to complete the level. Only just. Woo! I forgot I could launch the... yeah. Oh, what the fuck? Day 22 was a conveyor level, which also introduces what I think is the coolest zombie in the game, the arcade zombie, who pushes these arcade machines which spawn really cool pixelated zombies, which make this very difficult to deal with, as these can constantly be pushed ahead. And I really need to deal with them quickly, but as shown in day 23, they can only really be damaged when using the cherry bomb or other plants like that deal AoE damage. If I don't deal with them, it can be very difficult, which is also shown in this level with all my mowers being used. Day 24 is another last stand level, and was probably only possible because of the breakdancer zombie, as the arcade zombies would normally trample any potato mines when they push the arcade machines ahead, all until they get pushed ahead a few spots by the breakdancer zombie, which is very helpful. Other than that, the mowers went off a bit early, but it turned out completely fine. Day 25 was carried by the mowers as I ran out of sun at the end. Day 26 was an endangered level and was where the microphone guy really became an issue, because even though it should only really damage one plant at a time, as it hits in the 3x3 area, at least 2 are going to be defeated, which will obviously doom the attempt.
What the fuck?
But thankfully on the winning attempt, I killed him just before it got close enough, and as a reward we got...
Why are you looking at me like that? Why are you looking so smug?
which is being put in detail. It's not really good.
Who's this guy?
Day 27 was another conveyor level, and day 28 introduces the boombox guy, which not only is it, in my opinion, quite late to introduce a new zombie, but this one is actually quite annoying as it holds up a boombox that immobilizes any plants on the lawn, which includes most of my plants, but thankfully he overrides any current music that's playing and slows down zombies a lot, which is very welcome, but I did lose all my mowers and only just one. Day 29 was a difficult level where I lost all but one mower.
It's getting mad. It's insane.
Day 30 is another level that shows just how difficult the microphone guy is, especially with 3 waves of zombies.
That wasn't the last wave?
Thankfully, with more sun, it was quite easy compared to the others.
Right, that went more successful than previous levels.
And day 31 is a given plants level.
Oh my god, man. Okay, so these next 2 levels are impossible.
It seems to always be that. What the hell? Now, day 32 is the boss fight, and this one is the sole reason I say how each of them go in terms of difficulty, because this was a whole different level of hard. Now, I know this isn't a level I can even try with just single-use plants, but I do want to show it. This boss has 5 different sections with different zombies.
5?
First is the punk zombies, then it's the glitter zombies, then microphone, arcade, and finally the gargantuans. And I've talked about each of these and why they're all difficult by themselves, but mixed with this small space, it's absolutely criminal. Either way, after 30 minutes of straight failed attempts, I want to show you the end of this boss fight just because of how close it was.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was so worried I was gonna lose that. I was so worried I was gonna lose that. Anyways. On to Jurassic Marsh. That was incredibly close. I can't imagine what the next one's gonna be like.